What if I told you there's a fighting game with heavy focus on footsies, trimming your opponent out of their socks, and then striking down your opponent in less than a single move, fulfilling that samurai movie vibe? Well, look no further than 2 Strikes by Retro Reactor Games. Big thank you to them for reaching out to yours truly to share this game with you and give my honest take on the game. Gonna be going over things that I liked and didn't particularly like with the game, and then give my overall thoughts to you all. So, let's go over just what this game is. 2 Strikes is, as I mentioned, a fighting game heavily focused on jockeying for position and slaying your opponent in 2 hits or less, which is obvious with the name being 2 Strikes, because all you need is to win is 2 strikes or less. In this game you have just 2 attacks, heavy and light slash, where either you win by attacking twice with light slash or with a single heavy slash killing your opponent. As far as movement goes, generally characters either walk or dash. There isn't any running or air dashes or even jumps. Now, although there isn't necessarily running built in, there are characters with their own unique movement to one another that don't follow the same rules. In this game, besides your attacks, you can also parry with there being 2 types, regular and perfect parry. You'll know you did a perfect parry when you see the blue spark. And not only that, there are also a big theme of mind games with 2 Strikes, seeing as how there are also feints in this game. So you and an opponent could be going blow for blow trying to hit each other, and you fake them out as if you're doing a heavy, and they try to react and parry or respond with an attack of their own, and then boom, you punish them and it's game over. The best way I can compare this game is if you took the movement of Footsie's the game and blended it with the samurai theme and heavy damage of SNK's Samurai Showdown. And speaking of samurai themes, this leads me to the stuff I enjoyed about this game. Visually, this game is amazing. 2D hand-drawn black and white art style that mimics the samurai era of Japan, and not only that, the stages, if more than anything for me, are the most interesting portion. 10 stages in total, each with their own unique look and flair, no 2 stages feeling like duplicates of the other, and with them having their own vibe, setting the tone for your epic duel with your opponent. Also, when you get to the final round and land that satisfying hit to win, the blood from the opponent spurts out across the background like a painting, and everything color-wise inverts, giving the cool win of visual effect. I can't stress enough how well visually this game looks, especially with this being an indie fighter. Gotta give props. The game has 2 attacks, being light and heavy, and you can kill your opponent with either a single heavy strike or 2 lights or a light and heavy. What's fun about this game is, at first glance it may not seem as there's no mobility because of the lack of runs or air dash and such, but you have the ability to dash as well as a dash during your attacks. When you do an attack, your character will light up and an exclamation will appear indicating you can dash, which comes in handy with baiting your opponent into attacking or parrying, and you can dash backwards as well. Mind Games and Deceit is the name of the game with 2 Strikes. In regards to the online, it features rollback netcode as well as crossplay, so no worries on which platform you purchase this game on. The roster of this game has a variety of characters, each with their own unique fighting style and weapons, from ninjas to samurai, characters that use tricky, quickie movements with smoke bombs, others using long range spears or sickles. My favorite character to use right now is Yasuke. He may not be the fastest character in the game, and he can't dash normally like other characters, but in his case, you have to prep an attack and cancel it into a dash, which is another aspect of this game that lends itself into just how creative you can be at deceiving your opponents. Also, his range for me is something that keeps me playing him, and also his design is a banger. Gotta love the locks with the outfit. It's just chef's kiss. Just look at him, he looks so cool. They did a great job with him. But even though I mentioned there being all kinds of characters that use a variety of weapons, there is also characters fighting exclusively barehanded, which leads me to a certain character you see on the thumbnail. Yes, Baki from the Baki the Grappler franchise is indeed a DLC character in this game, along with Musashi Miyamoto from the Baki series Baki Do. How they were able to get them, I have no clue, but hey, the attention to detail with the animations and design is fantastic. As someone that enjoys the series, this was a fun time for me, especially with not only their inclusion, but as well as there being 2 stages such as the underground arena and the research facility from the show being included. As far as game modes go, 2 Strikes actually have a decent amount of game modes to pick from. For a single player, you have modes such as One Life, where you pick your character and play against the roster in a single duel. Infinite mode, which is basically you continuously playing as long as you can before being defeated. The classic arcade mode we have. Story mode, where you get to learn a bit about these characters and their personalities, each of them having 3 endings. One Strike mode, where as the name implies, the mode is focused on the idea of a single hit kill rule set. And finally, the quintessential training mode and practice, where practice mode in this case is you playing against an AI in a bout of either 5, 7, 9, 11, or 15, and training mode is facing the dummy to practice things. Kinda feel like practice mode should be named something else, but that's neither here nor there. For versus mode, you have one strike just like in the single player, team duel, and online mode. Features wise, there are other things in the game such as a lore tab where you learn about the character's lore, fighting style, and how they died. The plot of the game is essentially all these characters died in some shape or form, and the Shinigami, which is basically this Japanese demon, have gathered them together to fight one another with the prospect of whoever wins could be revived. But as with everything in my reviews, I have to be honest and give you both the good and the bad, and comes to section of things that I'm not a fan of that I feel do need improving. Now, earlier I mentioned the online, and yes, it does in fact have rollback netcode and crossplay. However, the problem lies in the issue of quality of connection. Now, when playing folks from the same region as me, I generally had no problem, but when playing more international, say Europe, there were times I could definitely feel a sluggish feel. And unfortunately, I can't tell you what the rollback frames were or ping because the game does not tell you this information, which is a big shame because I feel this would be extremely helpful. Now, there are different servers for you to connect to when you go to the online play of the game, but again, this is something I feel needs to be updated into the game for the sake of players everywhere. There are other issues that I have with this game, like navigating the UI can feel tedious because you aren't able to just use the directional pad to freely move through the menus and such, but instead you have to use a combination of both the bumpers and triggers as well, which can be annoying. That's something that yes does irritate, but isn't a deal breaker for me. What is my number one issue I have is when playing this game, you of course can set your key bindings for your actions and buttons you want to put. So say you're heavy attack and light and feints or whatever you want to put on different buttons. Cool. The problem lies when playing online and you unfortunately are player 2, because when playing as a player 2, all of those key bindings that you went through and set do not carry over, which if I'm going to be honest is extremely annoying and irritating. And even more so, there's the issue where, for me at least, I'm not able to dash around, meaning if I double tap forward or back, I can't move. Now, to make note of something, Yasuke cannot dash forward like a normal character. He has to cancel an attack animation to dash forward. What you get instead when you double tap forward with Yasuke is a kind of move that has this punish for folks trying to parry. It's this big swing with a lightning effect. However, when I'm on P2 side, I can't do any of these things. So you can imagine the irritation where even if I double tap forward, I can't even do this attack, or necessarily attack, but his moveset, which is a shame because this game is extremely fun, but this aspect of it makes it unfun to play. Again, the stuff mentioned earlier about navigating the UI is indeed annoying, especially setting your buttons and say you set an action to circle on PlayStation or B for Xbox. It will move you completely out of the menu because remember, that's your back button, which shouldn't be a thing in the first place, so hopefully that gets addressed. But like I said, my number one grievance I have is for sure the player 2 problem. That is something that needs to be fixed ASAP. Overall, this game is what I would call a fixer-upper, a diamond in the rough. It's a game with flaws for sure, and they are obvious, but this game also has just as much potential of being something amazing. It's not the flashiest game or insane graphically, but what this game does is take something so simple that's in every fighting game and hyper focus on it. Taking the premise of the Footsies video game and melding it with Samurai Showdown of SNK and getting this dope spectacle of samurai action. The stages, the art, the caricatures of the characters and their profiles, like all of this just exudes cool factor and samurai-esque vibes. Two Strikes has so much to improve on, and luckily the devs listens to feedback and responds in the Discord for the game. So if you are interested and would like to play other folks and share your feedback, I'll link the Discord in the description below so you can be a part of the community, or you could go to their website and they have a link at the top right. They have roles for pinging matches as well as they hold tournaments. Not to mention the folks there are pretty friendly, so do yourself a favor and check it out. Obvious issues aside, it's a fun game with an interesting cast of characters, which not to mention the inclusion of Baki and Musashi Miyamoto from Baki. Game is available on all platforms and has rollback netcode and crossplay, which brings me to my final question, that's what are your thoughts? What do you think of Two Strikes? Are you interested in trying it out? Have you ever heard of this game before? And what are some collabs you'd like to see from them in the future? Again, big thank you to Retro Reactor Games for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity to play their game and give my honest feedback. Much appreciated. If you'd like to see more like this, then please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and don't forget to tap the bell icon. And let's try to get this video to around 50 likes. Always appreciate it. But that's gonna do it for me though. Till next time, DecepySwag. Later.